Doop, doop. Honk, honk, honk. Honk, honk, honk.
Hey, Hong Kong!
Yeah, honk, honk.
Hi!
You better say.
Wow, it's so long. Look at everybody. Close the camps. See.
You gotta send it to Olga. Olga put it together, the banner.
Oh, that's right. I remember that one. It's been a while. Right on. Yeah, you're holding it up good.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Right on. Close the camps. Try.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I put them on my YouTube. I put them back on the Facebook event. You know. Sometimes it helps resolve issues. Hey! I see you. Interesting words.
Like the bread company.
Yeah.
Why are you
You know, why am I here today? Because I feel it's an injustice to not only the people at the border and the people that, so not only is it unfair to the people at the border and the children and the people in detentions, but it casts a horrible light on our democracy and what the United States stands for and how we define ourselves and how we define what we mean when we say all men are created equal. And how we treat each other is still important. It's still something that we in the United States value. And the children don't deserve this. They're innocent. And I think other times when I've done this, it's made a difference. Because I usually work on behalf of pesticide reform, and we've made some giant leaps. We got chlorpyrifos to be, the governor signed against it. We went up to Sacramento and did exactly this. We were very loud, farmers from all over California, so I think our voice matters. Okay.
See, what would you do without me?
this?
Right on.
Thank you. What is your name?
Do you think it's important for counties or county officials and counties in general?
Well, you know, in Monterey County, we know as individuals, as people, that we all came from somewhere at some point. Very few of us were living on this continent, you know, generations and generations and generations and thousands of years back. So we're all immigrants. It's kind of a catchphrase, almost a cliche, that we are a nation of immigrants. And in Monterey County in particular, we're all immigrants, some recent, some not so recent, but we know that our primary industries rely on immigrants to do the hard work that people who've been here longer don't want to do. And we know how much richer our communities are because of the cultural things that, you know, people from other countries bring. So we celebrate the fact that people who come from different areas are an enrichment to our community. And as the Board of Supervisors, we have made that statement through our resolution. I think the people here tonight are trying to say the same thing, that you know, we welcome people to our community. We stand together with the hundreds and hundreds of other cities throughout the country who are saying, you know, in our America, we want to keep families together. In our America, we want to welcome asylum seekers. In our America, we have respect for people from everywhere.
ideas for moving forward. I'd like to first bring up Rob Rivas. He's our California State Assembly person from the 30th District. So, and right after that, we'll have Jane Parker, our Monterey County Supervisor for the 4th District. So Rob Rivas, thank you.
Hooray!
Hey, how is everybody? Can you hear it way over there? Maybe, no, yes. Well, listen, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. You being here tonight, all of us here together in solidarity, sends a very important message. It sends a message to our friends, to our neighbors. Our unity sends a message to those who disagree with us and who agree with us. And that message is that we intend to stand up for each other. And we intend to stand up for our neighbors, for our friends, for our farm workers, and for our immigrants, for all immigrants. Because this issue that we're here tonight about isn't about being a Democrat. It's not about being a Republican. It's about being an American. And we're here tonight, I know I'm here tonight because I believe in this country. And I believe in protecting our values. Because I don't value hate. I certainly don't value the discrimination. And I certainly don't value making sure that we pit people against people. Because Donald Trump has time and again, he's tried to divide us, and he's trying to stir up racism and aggression. And to that, we have got to say no. There are thousands of children being held at our border. Children that are counting on us to stick together and fight for them. Tens and thousands of our neighbors right here on the Central Coast are in fear tonight that ICE is going to come to their homes and they're going to deport them. This is not the country I grew up in. This sounds like something out of Nazi Germany, not the United States of America. And we all of us here have a moral responsibility to act, to stick together, to beat this oppression, and to protect our country. And you have my word as a member of the California State Assembly that I will never, ever forget my roots. You know, I am the proud son of Mexican immigrants, of farm workers who came to this country in search of a better life. And we owe it to the thousands of families here on the Central Coast, just like mine, to help them find a better life right here in our community. So I'm going to continue to fight against discrimination, against hate. You have my absolute word. But we need to stick together to say no, to say never, not ever, no way, no how. So with that, thank you. And Jane Parker, she next. My friend, Supervisor Jane Parker, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Robert. It's really great to have our assembly member from the Salinas Valley here with us. You know, speaking as a person, we're all immigrants, pretty much. There are a few Native Americans around, but most of us have come from somewhere else, either a long time ago or more recently. And I want to also thank all of you for being here tonight because, you know, the kinds of things that are going on right now at our border of our country, where we are trying to vilify and detain and separate families that are coming to this country as refugees seeking asylum from violence in their own countries. You know, this kind of separating families, we do it sometimes. We've done it to the Japanese. We decided to round them up, separate families, and detain them. We did it with slaves. We separated those families, and we look back at those times in our history, and we are horrified. How could that happen? Well, we're in one of those moments now. And I'm so proud to be here with you, standing up and saying, the America that we believe in welcomes asylum seekers. The America that we stand for and that we represent keeps families together. The America that we believe in and that we represent, what was the sign that says, be nice? You know, it's kind of basic. And so I think it's so important that we are here together and that we're joining with hundreds and hundreds of cities and communities across the country saying, in our country, we believe in justice, we believe in respect, we believe in fair treatment, we believe in keeping families together, and so we're saying no to those activities that are going on the border. And it's so important to stand up, be seen, and be heard, because, you know, the youngest kids here, when they look back and they learn about this in their history books in school, they're going to be asking us, where were you when this happened? Well, luckily, we're here, and we're doing what we can to stop the just inhumane treatment that's going on. So thank you so much for sending that signal so loud and clear from the Central Coast of California.
Thank you, County Supervisor Jane Parker. Give it up for Jane Parker. Hi everybody, sorry I'm running a little bit late here. I guess I'm the MC for today, so I want to introduce our next speaker. Just in case you don't know me, my name is Tyler Williamson. I'm a council member here in the city of Monterey. And I am so humbled to be standing out here with you all for this great cause. Unfortunately, we have to do it, but we're doing it. So I appreciate you all for being here. I want to introduce our next guest. It's Hector Azpilicueta. He's a Secretary Treasurer for Unite Here Local 42. Give it up for Hector.
Hello, Hector.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Hector Azpilicueta and I'm the Secretary Treasurer for the Hotel Workers and Restaurant Workers Union. Our union represents 1,400 members who work in the hotels as housekeepers, cooks, waiters, and front desk person. Today we are gathering here because it is tragic what is happening in the border. But it's also tragic the plans that this administration has against immigrants like me. We came to this country to do the best that we can and work hard and make America great by the labor that we do every day. You know, housekeepers every day clean an average of 14 to 20 rooms sometimes. You have people that get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to bake bread and cookies, so when you get up, you go and have breakfast at those restaurants. So many people labor night and day. The hospitality industry is an industry of 24/7, 365. So this industry never stops. And guess who is running this and doing the work in these hotels, in these industries? Immigrants. And they come from all over the world. And in my own experience in Monterey, Latinos from Central and South America are the backbone of the hospitality industry in Monterey. And when you go to these restaurants, you know it. So it is sad to see that this administration has targeted immigrants from the beginning of his administration, trying to ban our brothers and sisters from the Muslim community to come here. He is also talking against all sorts of countries, directing his hate towards those countries. So today we're standing here and to say we are not going to take it no more. You cannot do this in our name. We love our brothers and sisters from other countries. We love our kids, and we will hate to see them in a cage. I don't want to see my son in a cage. I don't want to see my wife in a cage. I don't want to be in a cage. So, to Trump and his administration, we are not going away. We are going to continue fighting, and we're going to make sure that our brothers and sisters are protected against this unjust administration. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Give it up for Hector! I just gotta say, Hector's awesome. He's been a great friend and he's a great ally, and he's doing great work in the community. I mean, what better voice to hear than somebody that represents union labor workers that are providing much of the revenue for this community. So thank you, Hector, for representing us and doing what you do. All right, next up we have Brooklyn Alcott. She is Congressperson Panetta's office person thing. Yes, I'll have her introduce herself. She can probably do it a lot better than I can. Give it up.
Hello everyone, my name is Brooklyn Alcott, and tonight I'm here representing Representative Congressman Jimmy Panetta, who represents all of us as our federal representative. Congressman Panetta apologizes for not being here tonight, but as I speak, he is on a plane traveling back home from his work in Washington, D.C. However, the Congressman asked me to attend and to share with you his remarks today. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you tonight, but more importantly, thank you for being here tonight. For the past 2.5 years, you have done what our democracy demands. Together, we have shown up, we have spoken up, and we have pushed back. We have pushed back on an administration that continues to threaten who we are as a community, as a country, and as a culture. From demeaning our ancestry, to separating our families with immigration raids in our own communities, to separating our families and detaining our children at the border. As asylum seekers fleeing violence, poverty, and lack of opportunity, those who come to our southern border have the right to claim asylum under our laws. They don't deserve the horrible conditions at the border due to failed policies by this administration. They don't deserve the dangers of deadly river crossings, and they don't deserve to be placed in unsanitary, overcrowded, and overwhelmed detention centers. What they deserve is what the laws and the values that our nation must afford them: justice, decency, and humanity. As your representative, I am working hard to do just that. As your representative, I recently went to the border in El Paso and San Diego. I went inside the detention centers. I spoke to the fathers, mothers, and the children who have made the treacherous trek just to be detained or sent to Mexico. And I told them that there are those in this country and in this community here on the Central Coast who are fighting for them, not against them. As your representative, I voted to provide immediate humanitarian aid for the families and children at the border, and not for the border wall. As your representative, I worked on legislation for alternatives to detention for asylees and for our government to be held accountable at our southern border. As your representative, I worked on legislation to provide aid to countries in Central America to address the root causes of the migrant crisis in those countries. As your representative, I authored legislation and introduced it just today that would provide due process, judicial discretion, and dignity for asylum seekers in our courts of law. As your representative, as your neighbor, as your friend, and as your fighter, I am not only working for you, but we in Washington, D.C. are fighting against this administration and fighting for those who come to this country to seek a better life and the ideals and the values of our democracy, just like my grandfather and grandmother did, just like some of your fathers and mothers did, just like some of you did. We are here tonight because the values of our democracy demand it. That is why, as a nation of values and as a community of values, we must continue to fight together so that those who come to America stay together and not live the American nightmare, but so that they, like us, can live the American dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Everybody get up for Brooklyn. And I would just point out that I try to follow Congressmember Panetta as much as possible on social media, and the thing that I tend to see the most are immigration-related issues. So I think it's great that we have a champion for us that represents us at the federal level. So just give it up for our Congressmember Jimmy Panetta. We have an all-star list tonight, man. These are some awesome people. So up next we have Wendy Wu Askew. Where are you at, right, Wendy? Wendy is on the NPUSD Board of Trustees. She is also, I will say, running to replace our wonderful Jane Park. Jane Park. Can you hear me? Is this working? Oh, our wonderful Jane Parker on the county supervisor. So give it up for Wendy Rudescu.
Last fall, I sat in a seaside school auditorium listening to a presentation on the rights of undocumented parents who are living and working in our community. Around me, mothers and grandmothers, fathers and uncles clutched their children, their babies, while tears silently ran down their faces. This is not right. We know that immigration enforcement actions cause long-term developmental harm to our children. We know that children in immigrant families are already living in constant fear of losing a parent to deportation. Right here in Monterey County, we see very young children who are exhibiting symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of this. We are gathered here tonight out of deep concern for our brothers and our sisters who are fleeing to the United States in search of asylum. We are gathered here tonight in outrage over the deplorable, inhumane conditions in which mothers and fathers are being separated from their children and held in concentration camps by our own government. We are gathered here tonight because we believe that all human beings have a right to life, liberty, and dignity. And as the mom of my young son, as we drove over here in the car tonight and I had to explain what's happening to him, he asked the question, "Mom, that just doesn't sound like it's okay. That's not right." And so we're here today and we have our signs and they say, "Be nice." And we're gonna continue to use our voices, our big, loud, outside voices, to say this is not okay and we will not stand for this.
Thank you so much, Wendy. So that's pretty sad. You know, nobody should have to describe to their child why something like this is happening to other children. These are people that are barely able to take care of themselves, and to hear that Wendy has to describe that to her kids, it's a sad day when we see that. But what I think is a positive sign is that her kids are here, and she's teaching her kids what to do to stand up to things like bigotry. So thank you, Wendy, for bringing your kids. That's a good model for the rest of the community. All right, so next up we have, actually, before I introduce the next person, so the Immigration Task Force is one of the organizations that is really trying to handle some of these ICE raids that we're dealing with in our communities. And so they're really struggling right now. And so we have some volunteers that are going to be passing around some donation buckets. So if you wouldn't just mind digging into your pocket a little bit and finding something to contribute, it would be much appreciated.
Task Force, and just so you know, some of the funds go to defraying or organizing events like this. Our red cards that provide Know Your Rights information throughout from Castroville to King City, and for us to manage a 24-hour hotline that people can call if they feel that they are threatened by ICE. We also produce the hotline cards themselves. We've printed and distributed over 100,000 of those throughout the county. Thank you for your help.
Give it up for Deb, by the way. She's awesome. She is one of the most hardworking people I know that is fighting for immigration-related issues. So really do give it up for Deb. Okay, so next we have Dorothy Dixon from Border Links at Border in the last few months. Give it up for Dorothy.
In February, as a member of Monterey Presbyterian Church here in Monterey, I traveled with a small group of Presbyterians to Tucson, Arizona, and the Arizona border. It was an intense, emotional experience over 5 very packed days. We walked through the desolate and dangerous Sonoran Desert with an ex-Marine, a volunteer from a group called the Samaritans. They walk several miles into the desert to leave food and water at certain points where they know immigrants will pass. They can be arrested, and they have been arrested, if they help a migrant in any way other than that. Migrants choose this often deadly route rather than wait for months to cross legally. We listened to the stories of people who were seeking asylum. They had been released with irremovable ankle monitors from detention centers because they had a sponsor. The process of seeking asylum can take years, and then is likely to be rejected, since less than 20% of cases heard are approved. My heart ached as we watched, stunned, after row of men and women shuffled into a federal courtroom. Shackled, chained around the waist, and handcuffed to appear before a magistrate. This was Operation Streamline. They had all agreed after 5 minutes with a lawyer to a plea bargain where they pled guilty with no right to appeal to crossing the border illegally. They were then sentenced with a misdemeanor, sentenced to between 30 and 150 days in a federal prison, then deported back to their home country. With a criminal conviction on their record, we witnessed 75 prosecutions in 2 hours. 2 hours, folks, that's 120 minutes. 120 minutes divided by 75 people. That's justice. These are human beings, people. Men, women, children, with stories, with history, with family, and with faith that they will be treated fairly and humanely. In 1784, a poet in Scotland, where I come from, Robert Burns, wrote in one of his poems, "Man's inhumanity to man makes countless mourn." Let's show the world today our humanity, our compassion. Let's show them Monterey.
Thank you, Dorothy. Everybody give it up for Dorothy. Okay, so another public service announcement while I have your attention. So at this table over here, there's a sign-up sheet. So if your heart so desires, we really do ask if you can sign up and we can keep you posted on future events that occur. It's really important that we keep our network, keep our coalition going. And so if you can, make your way over to the tables and sign up on the sign-up sheet. So next up we have Jane Weetham, also from Border Links at Border in the last few months. Give it up for Jane.
Yeah.
Dorothy and I have a lot to say that was the same because we went to the same organization. In mid-February of this year, I had the privilege of going to Border Links in Tucson, Arizona. We went under the umbrella of the Presbyterian Church USA. We went to an organization called Border Links. During our 1-week stay, they educated us, took us to the Nogales border, through the desert, entrance to the U.S., and to the federal court in Tucson. We were able to meet with groups in Tucson who work with immigrants. and help them. And there are many, and they are wonderful. We were introduced to immigrants who are recent arrivals and who came seeking asylum. It was educational, informing, but it was heart-wrenching. This is what I learned about people seeking asylum at the Arizona border. Only 10 people a day get to apply. You must have pictures or documentations of why you need asylum. 3 different government agencies man the table for asylum seekers, and you never know which agency you will get. When 10 people have passed through or been rejected, all others are told to come back another day and wait in line and be able to present their case. Many are rejected and don't have proof of why they need asylum. In one case, it was a woman who was from Honduras, and it's illegal to be a lesbian there, and she had to leave. Several cases we heard about were women who were raped over and over and over again. But to get asylum, they had to have pictures that showed. Can you have pictures taken when you're being raped? In southern Arizona, there are between 2 and 8 for-profit holding facilities. People who want to help don't seem to be able to find all of them. We were not allowed to visit any of those facilities because we weren't anybody important. Our visit to the federal courthouse in Tucson was heart-wrenching. As Dorothy said, 75 people go through the court every day. They're mostly young people. And as Dorothy said, they were brought in 7 at a time in shackles. They had all been told by their pro bono attorney, who they'd met with for 30 minutes, to answer yes to all the questions. They did not speak English. They were sent into federal prison. Unless they are Native Americans, unless we are Native Americans, we all come from immigrant stock that came here to better their lives. It is the same today. What we are currently doing to these people makes me very ashamed of my country. But I am hopeful, because of all the organizations that are helping or trying to help immigration and the undocumented, that we will be able to make a difference. I'm so thankful for all the work that the Task Force on Immigration in Monterey County is doing to help these new immigrants. Please investigate a way that you can help too, and we can all make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. You know, Jane, I just want to say that you had identified in your story that you weren't an important person, and you absolutely are an important person. The problem is that you were a threat to them, and that's what the problem was. So thank you for standing up and doing what you do. All right, next up we have, again, our wonderful, fearless leader, Deb Clifford from Immigration Task Force. She's the co-founder of Immigration Task Force and their Rapid Response Network. So give it up for Deb.
Yeah.
Woo! I think she needs a greater applause to come out. Give it up for Deb!
Ay, ay, ay. So this is my dear friend and I guess comrade in arms, Ricardo Nunez, and we're gonna split a little recitation here. And when we finish, I'll do a line in English, Ricardo will do a line in Spanish, and then repeat afterwards, say, we believe or we demand, depending on what we led with. I think we can get that one. We believe in the rights and freedoms of all to pursue a better life.
Nosotros creemos en el derecho y la libertad en la cual cualquier individuo puede buscar una vida mejor. We believe. Louder. We believe. All right, better.
We believe that everyone has the right to live, to work, and to prosper.
Nosotros creemos que todos tenemos el derecho de vivir, trabajar y seguir.
We believe.
We recognize, all right, that's a curve. We recognize that it is the desire for work and for safety that drives immigrants to the United States.
Reconocemos que es el deseo de oportunidades y de seguridad lo que nos motiva a los inmigrantes a venir a los Estados Unidos.
We recognize that seeking asylum is a universal human right.
Reconocemos que la búsqueda de asilo es un derecho humano universal.
We recognize.
We demand an end to the criminalization of migrants.
Exigimos que se termine con la criminalización de los inmigrantes.
We demand.
We demand the recognition that every migrant is a human being, as worthy, as important to the fabric of the society as any U.S. citizen.
Exigimos que se reconozca que cada inmigrante es un ser humano tan importante y valioso en la estructura de nuestra sociedad como cualquier ciudadano americano.
We demand the abolition of family detention, family separation, and all U.S. detention camps.
Exigimos que se termine con la detención y separación de familias en los centros de detención estadounidenses.
We demand the abolition of deportation and a return of those already deported to the United States at the government expense.
Exigimos la abolición de la deportación y la devolución de los que se han sido deportados de los Estados Unidos al costo del gobierno de los Estados Unidos.
We demand family reunification for every migrant child separated from a family member or guardian.
Exigimos reunir las familias de cada niño migrante que fue separado de sus padres, familias, guardianes y tutores.
We demand an end to the complicity between the immigration and criminal justice systems.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? Was that a city pamphlet or what? Yeah.
Oh,
I have to wonder
so
about that.
suspicious of city government. I wonder why.
That's actually happened to us before. We're camping and they turn on the sprinklers at 2 in the morning. Hey, you know, we just need to move up the hills. That was kind of fun, actually. Right, everything but the...
Well, that was fun.
I've lived here all my life.
It's never gone on.
Never.
That's right.
Ever.
I know, right?
Ever.
Oh, they're all.
I wouldn't trust it no more. I don't trust it.
You can use that as
Yeah, your umbrella.
It's just water. It's just water.
You didn't melt yet?
Oh, we know I'm a wetback, right?
We believe that was a total joke.
I think we should do it. Are you guys sure?
Close it out.
All right, let's give it up for Deb and Ricardo for listen.
Yeah!
Come on, who gets sprinkled on and continues going? Give it up for them. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Let's do the last one.
The last one, we demand every immigrant resident be given a path to citizenship.
Exigimos que cada residente inmigrante se le dé un camino a la ciudadanía. ¿Se puede? I didn't hear that. ¿Se puede? One.
Justice!
One.
Now!
One.
Justice!
One.
Now!
What we want?
Justice!
One.
Now!
The people united.
We'll never be divided!
The people united.
We'll never be divided!
The people united.
We'll never be divided!
What we want?
Justice!
One.
Now!
Louder. What we want?
Justice!
One.
Now!
¿Se puede?
Sí se puede!
¿Se puede?
Sí se puede!
Woo! Give it up again for Deb and Ricardo.
All right. So for our last speaker here, we have Margaret Senna Bonetti from LULAC, which is the League of United Latin American Citizens, the Monterey Peninsula chapter. Everybody give it up for Margaret.
Oh, look at that. What? You know what? It's not the first time that I've had sprinklers turned on to me or my microphone turned off or anything else. Thanks to everybody who's gathered here. Is it on? Can you hear us? Who is gathered here because it takes more than sprinklers to shut us down. And I have to say, with this water hitting me right here, I've been called a wetback. I've been born here in the United States, but I guess today I am an official wetback. This administration has gone beyond what we have expected. But they also don't know who we are. And this is why we're here, because we have to show them who we are. We are the United States of America. We are Americans. We are Californians. It doesn't matter if you were born here or you were born in another country, because this country was established by the Native Americans here who had the land stolen from them, and from every single immigrant who has come to this country to make it what it is today. This administration is putting money into the industrial complex, and they are diverting money from where it really belongs. And that is in education, and that is in the population. What they're doing right now is an extreme crime, and they're doing it under color of law. But we have to stop them because they're violating the laws. We cannot allow that. Especially myself, as someone who was born here, to Bracero dad, somebody who came to this country, and I was raised as an activist. And the reason I was raised as an activist is because I have known nothing but discrimination since I was a child. Discrimination against my parents, a discrimination against others like me, and discrimination against any person of color. And I want to thank every single person who is white, who is standing here with us, for being here with us. That is very important to acknowledge, that we are all in this together. This Trump administration, and it's not even just Trump, it is all the policies that have taken place in the past, which have denied us through gerrymandering, through trying to strip people of their vote, which has led us to where we are today. But it's time that we wake up. We cannot just sit home, and we cannot just be on our computers. We have to be involved, just like these actions. So not just this action, it also involves going door to door and not being afraid to speak to like-minded individuals. And when you come across somebody who doesn't understand or may not agree, it is very important that we not be confrontational, but that we help them to understand that when they come for one and we don't hold up for each other, next they come for the next person. And they have been doing that all along. We see the way they've gone after all different people of different backgrounds, whether it's the LGBTQ community, whether it's the immigration community, whether it's women with pro-choice, whatever it is, we have to be united. And so I thank everyone for being here. Oh, I also would like to mention that with the latest census, it is very important that we get involved and we count every single person that can be counted, and we let them know that the question that has been fought, which is whether or not somebody is a citizen, which has been placed there, and they are still trying to intimidate the public, still trying to intimidate, the immigrant community not to get involved in being counted. But it's very important that we get every single person counted. And so I'm asking every single person here to commit to being involved. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you. Stay involved, stay strong. Si se puede.
Absolutely. Give it up for Margaret. I said give it up for Margaret. Yeah. You know, I think one message that I want to leave with everybody here today is look how many people were here. Just take a look around. And it's important to not let this energy die. Make sure you find a way of staying active, because you're here for a reason. The stuff that's happening in DC, the policies that they're making, are pissing you off enough to make you come out here. But they're not going to get solved alone. We're a small minority of people speaking, and we need to reach out to our neighbors, our families, our friends, and make sure that we bring more into the fold and let people know that their voice is going to be heard. Because we live in a democracy. Whether we want to believe it or not, we have the power, and we need to take that power back. So I encourage you all to stay involved. Don't let them win. Don't let that hatred take the darkness take over our brightness. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to introduce one more person, but before I do, make sure you get a candle. Somebody's passing candles out because this is a candlelight vigil. And so who has the candles?
You're around.
The candles are coming around. Okay, the table. If you don't have a candle, go to the table and grab a candle. It's getting about that time. I love you all. Okay, so for our last speaker, my dear friend is going to wrap this up for us here, Esther Hobbs.
All right, Esther.
Give it up for Esther. I think she needs a big, warm round of applause to know it's her time to come out. Give it up for Esther Hobbs. Give it up for Esther Hobbs.
I was too busy talking. I'm sorry. Right now we're going to start passing around candles for the candlelight vigil part of this so that we can have a moment of silence. Not right now. We don't have to have silence right now. But we will have a moment of silence right now, so start looking for your candle from your neighbor. They're passing them out. They're people you can connect with each other and light each other's candles. So we'll wait for a few minutes till everyone gets their candles, and then we're going to come back together so we can have our moment of silence. Thank you all for being here.
Come on, everybody together! The people united! The people united! What we want? What we want?
Justice!
When?
Now! You folks are beautiful!
Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. What we want?
Justice.
When?
Now.
What we want?
Justice.
When?
Now.
What we want?
Justice.
When?
Now.
Support it! Support it! Support it!
Anybody else's work?
Organizing this whole action, and I literally couldn't have done it without her. So thank you very much. And thank you all for being a part of this amazing community that turns out on a Friday night to stand up in defense of people that you've never met, that you don't know. And to me, with all the crap that's going on in this world, it gives me hope and it gives me strength to keep organizing. So thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to sign up if you would like to stay involved. It would be great. And now, if you would, I'd like to have, is it too much to ask for 2 minutes of silence to think about the children and the parents who are in camps tonight, and send them strength and send them our love.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
Isn't it gorgeous? If you'd like to stand on the street for another little bit, you're welcome to.
It's beautiful.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for
Very well.
I'm just going to make one last announcement and a thank you. So this event was put on by Lights for Liberty, and the founder of that organization is Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. So we have to give her thanks for orchestrating this event that's taking place all over the country, which the person that told me to make this announcement had identified that this is one of the largest gatherings of people in the world, in the country. What was it?
Of Lights for Liberty.
Of Lights for Liberty. This is the largest one for Lights of Liberty.
Mobilization.
It's the largest mass mobilization. Great job, you're part of history. And then there's also a hashtag. If you guys can remember this hashtag when you're posting stuff on social media, hashtag don't look away. Okay, got that. Stuff keeps coming. Okay, so I'm gonna read you a quote. The candle burns not for us, but for all those whom we failed to rescue from prison, who were shot on the way to prison, who were tortured, who were kidnapped, who disappeared. That's what the candle is for. Peter Benson, founder of Amnesty International. Thanks again, y'all.